Okay, hello everyone. Okay, we're just waiting for this to load. Okay. Hello, my name is Cesar Ramirez and I'm your MCP PD or Partnership Development. So for those that don't know me, well, I'm part of the national team of Isaac in Sweden. Sure, and as head of partnership development, my role is to make sure that we have new partners coming to our being part of Isaac in Sweden. So that means I get to go to a lot of sales meetings. I do sales, and besides that, I'm also handling the iGT commission. Just same as with Gap Colero, but I'm in charge of the sales part. So I'm making sure you guys have enough education and you get the right skills in order to make as many iGT exchanges as possible. So let's start. Okay, so you're not in any random session or any normal session, but this is the start of a sales marathon. So that means that you're going to get super fit as a seller, and we're going to explain you how. Okay, so the name of this program is Get the Gold. See, we call it as a National Sales Marathon. So, what is Get the Gold? Get the Gold is a program in order to educate the sellers of IGT in Sweden. So they also have like all the knowledge that they need in order to reach their goals. So, in order to deliver this education and to make it fun as well, from today until the 20th of December, we'll be broadcasting different webinars on IGT sales. So it's going to be super cool. And these square or stages that you have here are the stages that we have already discussed of the sales process that we have in IGT. So first we have pre-attraction, uh, in which well you do a prospection of your market. Then first approach, you approach those companies that you want to partner with. Then you have the first meeting in which you hear their needs, you tell them what Isaac is about and what global talent is about. Then negotiation, you come with a proposal that caters to their needs, and then you do some handling with their objections. You clarify their doubts. You convince them that global talent is actually what they need in order to become more competitive as a company. And then the closing, that's when you sign those beautiful contracts with your new partners and you open new opportunities. So all of our sessions are aligned to this process. So the first session is belongs to the pre-attraction stage. That's market segmentation and positioning. Then there's for the first approach, there's going to be a session on networking, another session on how to approach customers for the first time. Then for the first meeting stage, how to do a sales meeting, how to get prepared. We're going to talk about the spin method, seller training, how to identify what can be the right value proposition for each of the customers that you approach. Then for negotiation, how to do proposals and follow up with companies after the first meeting. For the closing part, like tips and tricks for sellers, how to handle those objections, how to speed up the closing of the contract. And then we have two more topics. or let's say stages. There's value delivery. So sales doesn't only happen with new customers, but there's you're when you're delivering value to a partner, maybe you're able to grow that account. So there's also sales in that. So we're going to know how to handle the current partners, how to make sure that those partnerships are everlasting and everyone is happy. And we're going to have 2 sessions on personal development, which I think is going to be really cool. One of them is about how to lead a sales team. Some of you are VPs, or some of you will be applying to be the next VP IGT in your LCs. And there's going to be another session on personal branding and business protocol. So all of the sessions are going to be on Thursday. We're going to be announcing them until December 20th is going to be the last session. The really cool thing is that for each of these sessions, you will have different facilitators from all over the world. So you're going to have people that have had experience in sales in ISEC. So it's going to be really cool. But that's education is not the only thing that Get the Gold is about. So there's more for you. So besides being super fit for sales, we're looking for champions. We're looking for to see who are going to be the best sellers. So that means that we are going to have a rewards and recognition program. So first of all, we're going to be recognizing the best sellers of the month through our MC fan page on Facebook. And we are also going to be recognizing the bestseller of the semester at the Gala Night of Lead 2019, which is going to be in January. But also, we're going to have some more rewards. That's going to come soon because we are working on that. They need to get approved maybe by your LCPs, but we'll be releasing more information in the future webinars. So you may be wondering, like, how are we? Well, first of all, this could be you, like Michael Phelps, winning all those gold medals. So you may be wondering, how is it going to work? So we're going to have different categories for all of the sellers. That means all of the iGT members are going to be part of this. So at the beginning, you're going to start for sure as a starter, and then you can move on to the different stages according to the number of points that you accumulate. So how come you're going to get those points? So we have 2 different kind of activities. We have sprints and we have marathons. For sprints are those small daily activities, for sure connected to sales. So every activity that you do in IGT, it counts, or most of them. For example, when you every month we upload our companies on the CRM. So for every new company that you register every month, you're going to get 2 points for each company. Then if you so I hope you guys already know the CRM. Your VPs have educated on that on you. If not, we're going to on the next Monday we're going to release the first IGT newsletter with the tutorial on how to use the CRM. So the CRM is a place where we register all the partners or potential partners that we are approaching, on all the interactions that we have with them. So every mail that you send, every call, every meeting that you have with a company, it has to be on the CRM. So that way we're also going to know how are you progressing. So every mail that you send to a company and it's on the CRM is going to be worth 2 points. Attending a networking event is going to be worth 5 points. I know that Lund is attending an event or attended an event today. So that's going to be really cool. And in order to make this valid, you only have to post a picture of you attending to this event on the IGT group on Facebook. That way, we're going to know that you attended an event that week. So that's then there's a webinar attendance every week. You get 5 points. One phone call to a company, 5 points, and for every sales meeting that you schedule and it is on the CRM, you're going to get 10 points. So those things we're going to be checking them every week, except for new companies. That's going to be on the monthly audit. And then we have marathons. So these are bigger activities. So for example, if you know that every month you have to upload 30 companies. So if you get to contact all of these companies, you're going to get 10 points every month. For every meeting that you attend, you're going to get 15 points. And for every opportunity that that you sign that is open with a partner that you're handling, you're going to get 50 points. So all of these points are going to accumulate, and then that way you can progress to bronze, silver, or gold, and there's going to be specific rewards when each of you progress to a new level. But there's something really important that you have to know. Let's say that, well, in order to progress from one level to another, you need to have, yes, the minimum for example, from progress from starter to bronze, you need to have at least 151 points. But there's also one condition: you can only progress to the next stage if you have closed at least one opportunity. So every time you go from starter to bronze, from bronze to silver, from silver to gold, each of those times you need to at least close one opportunity in order to progress to the next level and get those rewards. So for example, if you accumulate, let's say, 200 points, but you haven't been able to close an opportunity, that then you will remain on the started stage until you close your first contract and you have an opportunity open. Okay, so I hope that's clear. I'm going to show you something super fast. So there's actually a tool that we're going to be sharing with you. This tool is going to be available for you to take a look. So here's all the information that I already told to you. And for both of the LCs that are running iGT, Lund and Uppsala, so we have this tracker in which we're able to measure your progress, your score each week. So for example, we have here Celine's scoreboard. So there's going to be a picture of each of the members in iGT, for example, in Lund and Uppsala in this tracker. And here you have the monthly score. And every week, I'm going to be auditing all of you on the CRM. And I'm going to measure your points. I'm going to register them here. So for example, if you, let's say, have an email, then you get 2 points. And then you can see that for the week you have 2 points, and that's going to accumulate on the monthly score. So yeah, that's going to be really cool. And we're going to start with that, measuring that on this week. So make sure that you have everything registered on the CRM, so we're able to track it and to add up each of the points that you have. So great. So may the 4th be with you, and we're really looking forward to see how cool how cool seller, or what a cool seller you can become. Who will be the winning that award at lead. Okay, and now let's move on with the first session of Get the Gold. So the name of the session is iGT Market Segmentation and Positioning. And our first FASI is Agnes. So Agnes currently is MCPPD in ISEC in Denmark. So she's in the Nordics. She knows the reality of the region, very similar to Sweden. And before, she's originally from Nigeria, but she has lived abroad from Nigeria for a long time. She was MCPPD 1718 in Isaac in Ethiopia. And before that, well, she has some extensive experience in different areas, functional areas, but she was LCBPER 1617, also in Isaac in Ethiopia. And the first time I got to know her, I was like really amazed at how straightforward she was and how professional and positive and a very driven person that she is. Like she makes you trust her. I think she's really good at managing her body language, which I think is something really important when you're doing sales. So without any further ado, I will leave the stage for Agnes.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Agnes. I did not expect that very sweet welcome, Cesar. Thank you very much. Yeah, so let's get on with it. When you hear market segmentation, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my goodness, it's so much work. Oh my gosh, like I can't do this. Like, what am I doing this for, you know? But I think we forget to do a bit of research on what exactly it is by definition. So, based on the numerous definitions that market segmentation has, the one that is very relevant to ISEC as an organization is this one, which I picked online from different sources actually. And it's saying basically that market research is, or market segmentation rather, is researching on different markets and the relevance to the organization's vision. So it's basically a research that helps you understand how an organization divides its customers, or in our case, clients or partners, into focus groups. This could be based on the programs run in the organization, our products, or even our services. Now, by understanding your market, you're able to leverage on product sales and marketing strategies. This is something that's very important for ISIC and our products. Now, listen, market segmentation is very important because it helps you to power product development circles, especially taking into consideration the changes that occur socially. Now, one example of this would be the employment policies, immigration policies that vary, especially in the Nordic region. Now, as GT, you may be wondering, why is it so relevant for me to know what policies are coming in and out? This is the reason. A lot of companies and organizations tailor their needs and focus to the policies that are in the country because, one, they don't want to experience problems, and two, they believe that the policies that are being implemented are best for their productivity. So it's very important that you as an ISECer keep up with the changes that is going on, especially in the employment field, because we working with GT as an employment product is very important. Yeah, so that's about that. When you think about market segmentation, the three things you need to consider is one, the nature of GT.
Sorry, Agnes. Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you. I think your slides are not going forward.
They're not.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's on the face. It's on the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, yes, on the
Yeah.
first one.
It's on the first one. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's on the first one. So it. Yes, I will progress to the next one as soon as possible.
Okay, you're not sorry. You weren't showing anything else. I'm so sorry. I just want to make sure everything was okay.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know.
Okay. Okay, sorry. Bye.
That's okay. Yes. So the three things you need to take into consideration, and I think you might know this as well, but if you don't, here it is. Three things you should take into consideration is one, the nature of the product, two, how the product fits in society, and three, the value delivery power. So now as an LC, you might be thinking, oh my goodness, we can't do it. Only the MC should handle it. Actually, you can do it better than the MC, and that's why you exist as an LC. And you would understand why over the time of this session. Now let's go into the focus for this session. This session is aimed to basically making you understand the importance of market segmentation, how to target your market, what differentiation means to ISEC, what positioning yourself as a brand is to the organization, and how you can create value for the products that we sell, which in this case is GT. Are you ready? I think so. Let's do it. Yeah, so market segmentation. Now, I've talked about the three different things you need to take into consideration when you're segmenting a market, and I mentioned nature of the product, I mentioned the fit of the product, and I also mentioned the value delivery power. Now, before you're able to know these three different things, it's very important for you to take into consideration the categories that you see on the screen right now. I'm going to start with the demographic aspect of it. When you talk about demographic, you're looking into the focus group of potential clients that you could be looking into as people you would work with in the future. Now, these are basically the different kinds of industries that ISEC is relevant in. Now, if you're an entity that has sub products, you want to make sure that your sub products are aligned to the kind of industry that is present. You look into industry analysis, the wants and needs, the age range of the industry, the income, and this is also very relevant for B2C, by the way, because for B2C and in OGX, you're considering the kind of age limits, the race, possibly the gender, and all that stuff. But for B2B or for GT, in our case, it's more of looking into the industry and looking for what they focus on, how they progress as an industry in terms of age range. So that is the demographic aspect of this. So this will also help you understand how to tailor GT to their needs. Now let's look at the geographical aspect. The geographical aspect is one that many people take into consideration first because, okay, you're thinking Sweden. What is Sweden's market like? It is a big market. So if you want to analyze the market, I think it's best for you to select one or two parts of the market in which you fit perfectly in. And then we move on to the behavioral aspect. When you look into the behavioral aspect, you're looking at how the lifestyle is of the country or of the industry that you're focusing on, what the decision-making aspect is. Is it just going to be the HR person that you need to talk to? Is it going to be what the COO, the CTO, the CMO? Who exactly will you end up talking to? So you don't have to waste time prolonging decision-making process. What kind of products are the companies or clients looking for? What are they going to use these products for? What is the potential of sustaining a partnership if eventually you do get to partner up with them? What is the lifestyle of the company? Is it a liberal company? Is it a conservative company? How well can your intern or whoever fit in that company? And what is their ways of operations? How do they actually carry out their productivity? Because in the end, as ISEC, we not only provide interns, we also make sure that these interns actually have good experiences. So it's very important that we put all of these things into consideration. Now, we look at the psychographic aspect of this, and this is one of my favorites because we're looking at the company attitude and value. This is one thing that we can use for vision alignment. For example, when we look at uh, LG, we say life is good. When we look at ISEC, we say peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. Now, these are two different organizations. How do we align their vision? It's by looking at the company attitude, what they're doing out there, what programs do they run to actually enhance their brand? How do we, in our essence, actually link up with these companies? It's very important that we work with companies that actually share similar values and missions. Again, you don't want to waste too much time in pursuing these companies if they do not have similar attitudes and vision and value as ISEC. Now, the reason why income is also part of this is because you want to make sure that the market you're looking into is a market that can actually sustain GT as a product, or at least can cater to the needs of the intern. Now, of course, we do offer one of the cheapest services in the world in terms of talent acquisition, yes, but not every company can fit into this criteria. Not every company can actually pay for this. So you need to be careful not to be so desperate enough to go after a company that will not pay for it. But of course, in the Nordics, companies here are willing to pay. They just need you to give them very good services. So that's an advantage that we have. Yes. Do I have any questions in relation to this? Does anyone have any questions? Nope.
I think
All right.
so far no.
Yep. Sorry, no for now. Okay, awesome. Let's move on to the next part of the market segmentation. Yes. So how you carry out market segmentation is simple. It, most times when I do this, I go to networking events because that's the easiest way for you to actually get an in into a company. You can easily just check LinkedIn, you can check Sales Navigator for all you can, trust me. But sometimes all you need is to just go to a networking event, meet one or two of the company representatives. Usually it's the community person or the HR person or the IT person responsible, or sometimes the CEO. So when you go and you ask them open-end questions like, "Hey, how are you doing? What is the current need of your company right now? How do you guys run your operations? Are you very open to diversifying your staff? What is the current ratio right now from of women to men? Oh, did you know that ISEC actually does this? Um, how do you think ISEC can actually fit in your company?" Basically, open-end questions for you to be able to place these companies in the different categories that I've mentioned earlier on, which is the behavior, the demographics, the geographics, and the psychographics. It makes it easier for you to also know if these companies would fit in with ISEC, and if these companies would withdraw over time with ISEC. And that's a lot of things. That's something that we oftentimes forget to do. Now, know that it is okay for a company not to fit with ISEC because, again, not every company is made for ISEC. There are some companies that are just focused on getting their numbers up. And then you have companies that are also focused on enhancing their leadership criteria as well as getting their productivity up. I would say go for these companies because these are the kind of companies that we align perfectly with our vision. It's very important for you to decide where this company fits. Now, when you decide if whether or not this company fits, you also go back to asking clarification questions. Now, I want you to also understand that you must not necessarily carry all of this out in a networking event. You can also carry this out in a meeting. You can just set up a meeting and go ask them a few questions. Now, when you decide where this company fits, you ask them clarification questions to make sure that they fit in that particular category. Now, the reason you want to do this is because in the moment you could be in a rush, or you could be nervous, or you could be anxious, and you might just place them in the wrong category. So just take your time and ask them clarification questions again, just to ensure that one, they align with ISEC, two, they can actually create value, and three, we can actually create value to them. Now, after, of course, asking them clarification questions, analyze the answers that they give and make sure it aligns to ISEC. I know I've been saying the word align a lot, and this is because it's very important. Any organization you find yourself in would always want to link up with organizations that share similar values and objectives with them. Now, after, of course, knowing what they do and how they fit in your head, it's now time for you to present them a beautiful slideshow. What is ISEC? What do we do? Why we do what we do? And how we do what we do? This is very important. Now, it's very easy to say ISEC is the largest world youth-led organization in the world and we do global exchange and da-da-da-da. It's very easy to do that, but these are things they could easily find on a website. How do you personally relate to ISEC, and how can you easily psychologically get them to be comfortable with the term ISEC? It's very important. And the only way you can do this is actually by owning up to the culture of the product itself, knowing the importance of the product itself. Personally, for me, when I sell ISEC to any organization or any person, I go with aligning it to the SDGs because right now the SDGs are so relevant. And if you know right now, Sweden is also one of the countries that is taking the SDGs as a main priority for national development. So you also have an advantage in that category. So when I'm selling GT to a person, I'm aligning it to corporate diversity. I'm aligning it to decent work and economic growth, which is SDG number 8. Now, the reason why it's so easy for me to do that is because of the idea of leadership that ISEC entails to GT. Because when I'm selling GT, I'm thinking leadership, I'm thinking productivity, I'm thinking development, not just for my intern, but also for the organization. The organization is also getting innovative ideas from people across borders. This is very important. Now, while you're telling them all of these things, evaluate their reaction. Because sometimes, yes, we do things that are great, but not everyone will be willing to listen to that aspect of it. Now, if you're telling someone, oh, I do this amazing things and yada yada yada, and you don't tell them about the business model of ISEC, you will lose them along the way. Because remember, these are business-minded people. They don't have all day. So it's very easy for you to tell them what ISEC does, how we do what we do, why we do what we do. Very important for you to also tailor in the business model aspect of ISEC and tell them why it's so important for them to actually work with ISEC, because our business model is one of the easiest, again, in the world. And it's also, I don't want to say cheapest, but unfortunately and fortunately, it is. Now, of course, when you go to certain companies and they look at our business model, they say, you're offering us this specific product that I could get from any other company, but yours is so cheap, I don't trust it. That's usually what companies would say. Now, the reason they say it is because the company see ISEC as one, it's a youth driven organization. What can they offer? That's one aspect to look at it. And two, oh, we don't know the value of money. Honey, we do know the value of money. It's just that we're not money crazy. We're more leadership for peace crazy. Yeah. So that doesn't necessarily mean that we want to loss in an organization. It just simply means that we have a different focus that is besides the money. Now, people are not saying drive your entity to loss. I'm saying know how to sell our values to this organization. Now, determine whether to go on or not. Now, after telling the organization what you do and why you do what you do and all that stuff, it's very important for you to ask them if they actually fit with whatever it is you've told them, where they can actually come in, what the possibility of collaboration is. Because it's one thing for you to sit a person down, ask them questions, make them feel relevant, and another thing for you to actually shove down an initiative in their throat. So if you notice the flow of this, one, it's making them feel relevant, and the other is throwing on the table what we have to offer and aligning it with what they have to offer as well. Now, when you get to that point where you're trying to determine whether to go ahead or not, it's very easy for you to get a no from there, and it's also very easy for you to get a yes from there. Whether or not you get a yes or a no, it's up to them at this point. So trust me, if you follow these different categories or this different flow, you will be fine up to the point of determining whether to go ahead or not. So when you go ahead, of course, yes, we maybe sign a contract. When you not go ahead, don't throw them away. You could have a newspaper flow where you can actually include them in the information of ISEC, or you could actually just tell them, oh, it's okay, we would just send you an information of other organizations or testimonials just for you to look at the possibility of actually collaborating with us in the future. Now, remember, you did not leave there upset, even after they said no. You left there opening up a possibility for future collaboration. Now, remember, always create a reevaluation space in this process, because one might initially they might not even be interested to listen to you. Then again, you need to reevaluate, okay, what am I doing wrong? How can I actually improve this? Maybe they just don't like my face. I'm joking. I mean, come on, they just can't judge you off your face. You never know. That was supposed to be funny, guys. But in the end, what matters is that you actually reevaluate yourself at every step of the way to make sure that you are in the flow and that you don't lose balance, because it's very easy for you to lose balance in this process because two things are involved: psychology and emotions. So balancing those things are very important. Any questions yet? Nope. Awesome. So now let's look at effective segmentation 101. Woohoo! Woo-hoo! Oh my goodness, that was a bit scary. Yeah. So when you talk about effective segmentation, it's basically you looking at the potential partnership as something that can be measurable, as something that can be accessible, something that you can keep as accountable, something that you need to actually have a plan for, something that you need to be ready for if things go wrong, of course, and something that you need to get results from. So now let's look at the measurables of segmentation. The measurables are simply, can this company actually pay? Now remember, in as much as we say we're a non-governmental organization or non-for-profit, honey, we need the money, and we need to ensure that we are not wasting our time. So measurables would be, can they pay? Now, usually how you analyze this is by using websites that actually display the company's information in terms of what kind of size they are, what is their average income um, estimate, and all of that. There are actually different websites online that can show you that. So it's easier for you to do this rather than going and asking them if there's a possibility of them paying or not. Accessibility. Do I understand the needs of the potential client well enough? Now, it's very important for you to actually go through that flow in order for you to be able to understand the accessibility aspect. Now, accountability. Can the company provide me with the experience that I want? Can the company provide my intern with the experience that they need? Guys, again, sometimes we forget to look at the intern's experience. So it's very important for us to also put this into consideration. Again, a lot of companies might take interns and not give the interns the kind of job descriptions that they actually need. Of course, they provide job descriptions initially, but the tasks that these interns need to go through to actually grow in this process sometimes is not provided. So it's very important for you to make the company understand that they need to be accountable to what they have promised. Yes. Now, imagine you have a company already in the loop. How do you nurture this company? How do you keep them interested? How do you engage the companies? I always use newsletters for this. At least send one newsletter in 3 months to all GT companies, just to give them a heads up of what's going on globally on GT, and just to kind of give them an idea that they're not alone partnering with ISEC on this. And companies usually feel very well included through newsletters because they feel, oh, other people are doing it, so we're doing something good. Now, what if things go wrong? How can you actually handle the risks attached to, let's say, an intern quits along the way, or an intern sues a company? Like, we had a situation like that where an intern, after their experience with ISEC, sued a company. Of course, the company called us and they said, hey, the intern you provided for us actually sued us. And this is actually one of the largest companies in Denmark. Now, how we were able to handle that was for us to make them understand that, look, this intern is done with us. Whatever happened after was with you. But regardless of that, we are sorry that you were going through this. Now, that is after ISEC. Now, what if this had happened while the intern was still with us? How do we handle this? It's by creating a risk management control plan. It's very important for you to have that. Literally write down all the what ifs so that in case it happens, you actually have a backup plan for everything that happens. Now, remember, the company is your clients. The client is always right. Very important. Brand advocacy. A lot of people actually miss out on this part, especially when you have very good relationship with a company. When you have good relationships with a company, it doesn't hurt for you to get testimonials from them. It doesn't hurt for you to make a quick video with them. Just go to their office and say, sir, I just need 5 minutes of your time. Make a quick video with them. These are the things you use to get more clients. One story could actually sell 1,000 more, guys. So let's capitalize on this effective segmentation process. Yep, doobers. Yes, so I'm just gonna go back quickly to this before we move on to the other part. Does anyone have any questions? No question?
I think so far so good.
So far so good? Awesome. Yes, let's move on to market positioning. When you hear market positioning, the first thing that comes to mind is, ooh, where do I fit in the market? Honey, ISEC fits everywhere in the market, and that's why I love this organization. Like, sell anything to us and we'll tell you, yep, we can do it, it's okay. And that's the advantage the organization has, actually. So positioning ISEC is usually not an issue, but the how of doing it is where we tend to frizzle a bit, because of course, if you look at the market today, especially in the Nordics, you'd realize that a lot of the companies are now doing what we do. Now, once the SDGs came in the picture, oh my gosh, everyone in ISEC freaked out because it's like, oh my God, what's going on with GT? Why is GB this way? Why is GE this way? And we realized that GB was increasing more than GT was. Now, the reason is because once the SDGs came in the market, a lot of other companies adapted their talent acquisition structure to the SDGs, focusing on goal 8 as well. But the one thing they are not working with exactly is leadership. We are still the only organization that works on leadership and talent acquisition. Mention any company in the world that actually focuses on leadership and talent acquisition, and I will tell you why we are still special. Now, let's look at the first aspect of market positioning. When we look at market positioning, we consider positioning itself, that's brand positioning, repositioning, which I will explain, cost, leader strategy, and differentiation. Now, positioning for me is very important because as an ISECer, you are a brand ambassador. It simply means that you should be able to anywhere distinct yourself, distinct your brand from every other brand. So I'm just going to read what it says on the slide. Positioning the ISEC brand in a certain way to create and establish an image or identity within the minds of the consumers in the target market. Guys, this is very important. Now, how do you get to the mind of a consumer? It's by reminding them of what we do. And you will hear that a lot in this presentation. It's by reminding them of what we do and what the relevance of what we do is to their organization. Now, remember how I said earlier on that ISEC fits any and everywhere. It's very easy, guys. It's not as hard as you might read on other papers. It's really not that difficult. Now, the only way for this to be easy for you is if you connect to the initiative, if you connect to the value, if you connect to the relevance of GT, especially in today's society, especially today in the Nordic region, because I don't know if you've noticed, there's been a high rise of need for talent, especially in the IT department, especially in the sales department, especially in the marketing department. And that's because a lot of things are going, a lot of things are going to that innovative space right now, especially with artificial intelligence. So everyone is now trying to rebrand and re-innovate and restructure because they don't want to be left out. So it is now time for us to capitalize on these changes. Now, how do I position myself as a brand in an organization? It's simple. Hi, sir. I don't know if you remember me. I called the other day regarding ISEC. Yes, yes. Oh, yeah, ISEC. Yes, the leadership organization. Usually when you sell GT, people will tell you, oh, the talent acquisition organization. And I'm like, no, no, no. I mean, that's part of what we do, but that's not the focus. Let me just rephrase you on that one. It's very important for you to do that. Don't let them get away with it, because the moment you do that, they actually put you in a box where you don't belong. Now, repositioning, it's simple. It's simply you going with the flow of the national changes. Now, remember how I said initially that it's very important as a GT person for you to stay updated with the employment policies that's going on, with the immigration policies that's going on. When companies go and they say, oh, we don't want interns because, we don't want global talents because the current national plan is trying to reduce that. Yes, something like that is actually going on here in Denmark right now, but it's also contradicting the idea of talent needs in the country. So how you can actually change a person's mindset from that perspective is by showing them the relevance of corporate diversity. And guys, a lot of research has been done on this, so you don't need to stress yourself. Just go online and check for research. It's very important. Cost, leader, strategy. Now, this is one of my personal favorites because, as I said, unfortunately, ISEC is cheap. Gosh, I hate to say that, but it's true. ISEC is an organization recognized for linking young, agile leaders, flexible enough to work in any environment with innovative organizations and companies. Yet, the cost of our services is low compared to companies who don't even do what we do. I literally just read that because that's exactly what I would say to anyone when it comes to cost, leader, strategy. Capitalize on this, guys. It's very important. Now, market differentiation. How can we actually differentiate ourselves in the market? It's simple. Again, we need to sell the why, the how, the what of ISEC. It's all in the vision, guys. It's all in the mission. It's all in the objectives. You don't need to search too far. You don't need to search too far. Now I'm going to read off of this. If you don't know the value of the product itself, you will never sell the value well enough to convince a buyer. You will never actually sell ISEC to anyone if you do not connect to it personally. So take your time, actually look at the importance of this product and analyze how it benefits you, as well as how it will benefit the country, as well as how it will benefit the company itself. We foster innovation, linking innovative minds across borders and create effective corporate productivity. I took this simply off of just looking at our mission as an organization. I took this simply off of just looking at our objectives as an organization. Now, this is me tailoring what we do to what the Nordic business region of course, of Denmark does, or of Sweden does, or of Norway does. And guys, the markets are not very different, trust me. So yes, it's very important for you to connect to the vision, connect to the brand, connect to the what, the why, the how. Because in the end, these are things that are relevant for you. These are things that are very relevant for the company themselves. I'm going to wrap this up by simply saying, own the brand. It's very important. And guys, go out there, network, get to know people, get those business cards, and start calling. Thank you, guys. It's been an honor, and I hope that was very helpful.
Okay, hey, thank you very much, Agnes. That was great. Actually, I have some questions. Like, if maybe if members have some questions, you can start posting them on the chat. But I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
So the first question is, when you're doing your prospection, what kind of tools or what kind of resources do you use to make sure you have the right segment, the right prospection?
Okay, so if I'm trying to understand you clearly, what kind of tools do I use to actually check these organizations to make sure that they're perfect for ISEC?
Yes.
Okay. The most simple one I would have to say is Google. What I usually do to actually check the impacts that organizations create to societies is by checking the kind of programs that they run, if it actually relates to what ISEC does as well. That's one way to look at it. Another way would be for you to go on their website and look at their objectives, mission, and focuses. Now, there are also, like I mentioned, websites that you can actually use to check the scale of this organization, if it's small, if it's medium, if it's large, what their income average is. You can also contact their HR on LinkedIn. And that's one thing I love about LinkedIn, is that you can actually access these people on LinkedIn, send them messages, book a meeting with them. Yes, you may not be able to book a meeting with them, but it doesn't hurt to try. Now, I'm going to give you a cheat app. It's called Contact Out. I literally use it to stalk online, guys. And no police should come after me. It's my tool. I use Contact Out to get contacts of this different HR personnel. I also use a tool called Rocket. It also helps me to get their contacts. In tracking my companies and making sure that I actually follow up if I do make calls or whatnot, I also use an app called Pipe. Pipe helps me to keep track of the companies that are relevant to me and companies that are not relevant to me. Yeah, so I think that's my answer to that question.
That's great. I'm actually a big fan of Rocket. I just discovered it this week and I'm in love.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I actually is one of the things I'm very eager for the members to introduce to the members. And
Okay.
another question from my side: how can members be more aware of the business environment in Sweden?
Okay. The one obvious way that pops in my head right now is keeping yourself updated with the news, guys. I know it's so boring sometimes. Oh my God, it can be really boring to just tune into a channel or something. But you don't necessarily have to check TV. You can just go online and check updated employment policies in the country. You can also do that the same for migration as well. It's very easy for you to do these things. Again, guys, there are many networking events out there that can actually keep you updated in the talent needs of the country. It's out there. Just go on Eventbrite, go on local event platforms. There's also Facebook to help you link you up with this different networking events, guys. There are lots of um, opportunities for you to actually use to do this.
Good. Okay. Guys, I don't know if anyone, I see that some people are having trouble with the chat, but if anyone has any question, please, you can send it to either me or Gap on WhatsApp. Also, to all of the iGT members are watching this, please make sure that after the end of the session, either you write your name and LC on the chat, or you can contact me through Facebook or WhatsApp just to say, hey, I have attended the webinar, just to know who has been with us. So, okay, I think there are no questions right now. I think everything was clear. For everyone, that's cool. So thank you very much, Agnes. Actually, people don't know, but Agnes was a little bit feeling a little bit sick. So we really appreciate that you made this effort, and it was a really, really good session with a lot of good insights. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, so I'm just going to make a quick announcement regarding the session for the next week. Okay, so again, thank you very much, Agnes. So, guys, as I told you, every Thursday we're going to have 1 or 2 sessions, starting from 8 p.m. All of them are going to be live streamed and recording on YouTube. So next Thursday, we're going to have a really interesting session about networking like a champion, how to go to networking events and making the most out of them. And our fast is going to be Francisco Cadena. He's currently MCV PPD of ISIC in France. So it's going to be really interesting. Don't miss it. And so thank you very much for those that having present in this session. And see you. Bye bye, everyone.